Harry spent 31 months stuck under $10,000 saved. In that time, his investments grew less than a single month of his deposits. 29 months after that, his net worth crossed $103,419. From that point on, his money started growing faster than his paycheck. By the end of this video, you'll see the exact month when his growth from the market finally beat his deposits, and how you can copy the same turning point for your own first 100,000. Most people never feel that flip. They grind. They save a little. The market goes up, then down, and it all feels slow and fragile. One big repair, one job loss, one bad month, and the balance drops right back where it started. Federal Reserve data shows the median net worth for people under 35 cites around $39,000. That means half of that age group has less than that. No wonder it feels like you are always catching up. At that level, almost all of your progress comes from you, not from growth. Harry knew that feeling too well. He worked as a customer support analyst in a noisy open office. He answered emails, reset passwords, and calmed angry customers for 43 hours a week. After taxes, health insurance, and a tiny retirement deduction, his paycheck landed at $2,973 a month. When we first meet him, Harry is 27. He has $819 in his checking account. He also has a credit card balance of $1,437 and a used car loan with $322 due every month. If you add everything up, his net worth is barely above zero. Around that time, a friend hands him a worn copy of The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. Harry reads about regular people, not celebrities, who quietly built seven-figure net worths on average incomes. One pattern keeps appearing. They hit their first real savings milestone early, then protected it. That number stuck in Harry's head. 6 figures, $100,000. A few weeks later, he finds The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. There is a simple idea buried in that book. Wealth is built less by brilliant decisions and more by staying in the game long enough for compounding to show up. Harry looks at his own numbers and realizes something uncomfortable. At his current savings rate, he will not see serious compounding until his 30s are almost over. So he makes a strange decision. He stops thinking about retirement. He stops thinking about becoming a millionaire. His new mission is smaller and far more intense. Hit one number: $100,000 of net worth. Nothing else matters until that happens. To make it real, he draws a simple grid on a cheap poster board. 1,000 boxes. Each box equals $100 of net worth. He tapes it to the back of his closet door so no one else sees it. Every time his net worth rises by $100, he colors in one more square with a blue marker. Month 1. His starting square count is 0. He is still in the red once he subtracts debt. So the first stage is not about investing at all. Stage 1 is negative to $10,000. He slices his spending in ways that do not look impressive on paper but change his reality. He moves from a solo studio to a shared apartment, cutting rent by $317 a month. He cancels 2 forgotten subscriptions, saving $26. He stops ordering delivery during late shifts and brings a simple packed dinner, saving another $112 most months. That does not feel heroic, but it frees up around $450 every month. He uses half of it to attack the credit card. He sends $227 every single month, sometimes adding little snowflake amounts when he sells something online. The other half goes into a plain savings account. At the end of 6 months, the card is gone. His net worth hits $2,143. Only 21 little blue squares filled in. 6 months of effort, a whole grid still almost empty. This is where most people quit. Harry almost does. Until something small happens. One Sunday afternoon, he totals his spending for the past 3 months. Without the card payment, his money finally feels like it moves forward, not sideways. He sees that the hardest part was not the big number, it was breaking out of zero. Families younger than 35 saw their median net worth more than double between 2 recent Federal Reserve surveys. But even after that jump, they still remained the least wealthy group. Harry realizes he is joining a small group of people who are climbing, even while most are still treading water. By month 12, he has crossed $8,791. Now his savings rate sits near $740 a month. He could keep stacking cash. But The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins sits in the back of his mind. That book keeps repeating one message. Owning pieces of productive businesses for decades beats almost every other strategy. So Harry opens a basic brokerage account connected to his checking. He chooses one simple index fund that owns tiny pieces of 500 large companies. No stock picking, no trading, just the entire market in one fund. He sets an automatic transfer of $393 on the 17th of every month, 2 days after his paycheck settles and his rent clears. The rest of his surplus still goes into cash as a small buffer. At this stage, the market barely matters. In the first year of investing, his account sometimes gains $50 in a month, sometimes loses $37. Meanwhile, his own deposit of $393 dwarfs that movement. If you are in that stage right now, you know exactly how that feels. You make sacrifices, you skip things, you move money. Then you look at the account and think, all that for this? Here is the uncomfortable truth. For most people, the first $50,000 comes almost entirely from you, from your job, from your decisions, from your discipline when no one is watching. That is the phase where you are pushing the car uphill alone. By age 30, Harry's net worth finally crosses $32,411, roughly half in cash, half in that single index fund. If you compare that to the median net worth for people in their early 30s, he is slightly ahead, but it still does not feel life-changing. One unexpected medical bill or job loss could erase a big chunk. But something invisible is happening. Every month, he adds that same $393. At the same time, the businesses inside his fund are sending dividends and growing earnings. In good years, his account grows by thousands without him doing anything extra. In flat years, it just sits there, waiting. Around this time, he adds a second lever. He negotiates a small raise and takes on a side project fixing simple tech issues for a local gym chain. His total take-home climbs to $3,427. Instead of inflating his lifestyle, he bumps his monthly investment to $518 and pushes his savings buffer a bit higher. Now we are approaching the point where everything flips. This is the part almost no one shows you in detail. The exact month when compounding starts beating your own effort. It takes him 7 more years to get there. 7 years of boring deposits, 7 years of coloring in boxes, 7 years of watching the balance move forward, then dip, then recover. By year 6 of this journey, his net worth finally crosses $71,962. He has weathered one market dip where his account dropped by almost $8,000 in a few months. That hurt, but he did not touch the investments. He just kept filling in blue boxes. Then comes the magic year. The year when the phrase, "the first 100,000 is the hardest," stops being a quote and becomes math on his screen. Harry starts that year with $84,529. He keeps his monthly deposit steady at around $520 into the index fund, plus a few extra hundred into cash here and there. Over 12 months, his total new contributions into investments come to about $6,400. The market, meanwhile, has a strong year. Nothing extraordinary, just a solid return, in line with long-term averages. By the end of that year, his investment account alone has grown by about $8,300. Not from his deposits, from growth. Think about that. For the first time, the market has added more to his net worth than his work did. His total net worth crosses $103,419. The little blue grid is completely filled. This is the 70% mark of his story, and it is the part that matters most for you. Up to that point, his feelings and his results did not match. It felt slow. It felt fragile. It felt like he was always one mistake away from falling backward. Then, suddenly, the math flips. His money is now working harder than any budget tweak he can make. Look at what happened there. There are 3 layers underneath that flip. First, the timeless wisdom. The millionaire next door showed that most real wealth is built quietly, by people who live below their means for years and invest patiently. Harry's whole journey mirrors that pattern. No big wins, just relentless, boring consistency. Second, the big picture data. Federal Reserve surveys show that net worth tends to rise sharply as people move from their 20s into their 40s, then slows and eventually declines in retirement. The steepest part of that climb happens once people move past low five figures and into six-figure territory. That is exactly the band where Harry sits now. Third, Harry's own proof. For almost a decade, he was the main engine. In that magic year, his investments finally took the lead. He did not save more. He did not cut deeper. He just stayed in the game long enough for the numbers to compound. From here, the story gets a lot less dramatic and a lot more powerful. Because once you have that first 100,000 working, you can afford to relax a little and let time do its thing. With 100,000 invested in a broad stock market fund, even a modest 7% average return adds about $7,000 in a year. If Harry keeps adding $500 a month, that is another $6,000 each year from his own effort. The difference now is that both engines are running, his money and his behavior. Fast forward 5 more years. Harry has not upgraded his car. He has not moved into the fancy apartment his friends keep posting from. He lets himself enjoy life within reason, but the core habit stays. Money leaves his account every month and lands in productive assets. At 39, his net worth crosses roughly $241,000. About half of that came from new contributions after his first 100,000. The other half came from growth. He is not rich yet, but the feeling is completely different. Losing his job for a few months would be a problem, not a disaster. Unexpected expenses are annoying, not life-threatening. Now bring this back to you. If you are under that first 100,000, your life probably feels like pre-grid Harry. Every month is a push. You might save $300, then see your account dip $200 when the market has a bad week. It feels like running on a treadmill with the speed slightly higher than your legs can handle. The temptation is to chase shortcuts. Options trades, hot stock tips, crypto bets. Because the slow path looks boring and the big number looks impossibly far. But the entire game changes once you decide that your only job right now is hitting that first six-figure mark as safely and steadily as you can. That does not mean starving yourself or never enjoying life. For Harry, it meant 3 concrete moves. First, he created a visible scoreboard. The grid on his closet door turned an abstract number into boxes he could slowly conquer. You can do the same with a notebook, a simple app, or even a note on your phone. Break 100,000 into tiny chunks. $100, $500, whatever makes sense. Watch those little wins stack. Second, he chose one main vehicle and stuck with it. Not 5 different brokerage accounts, not dozens of tickers. Just one simple, diversified fund that held many companies at once. If you do not know where to start, look for a low-cost fund that tracks a broad market index. Something that lets you own pieces of many businesses instead of gambling on one. Third, he kept his lifestyle one step behind his income. When his pay went up, his investing went up first. His lifestyle followed more slowly. That one decision shortened his path to 100,000 by years. Here is what you need to remember as you close this video. The first 1,000 feels impossible. The first 10,000 feels slow. The climb from 10,000 to 50,000 feels fragile, like it could be erased in a bad year. The climb from 50,000 to 100,000 feels like you're pushing a boulder uphill. Then, quietly, something flips. Your deposits still matter. Your habits still matter. But they are no longer the only engine. Growth has joined the team. You do not have to guess when that flip will happen. You will see it. You will have a year where your investment growth beats your contributions. When that happens, do what Harry did. Smile. Color in another square. And then do nothing fancy. Do not yank the money out. Do not chase a hotter trend. Do not decide you are a genius and start swinging for the fences. Just keep feeding the machine. Tonight, take 20 minutes and do 3 things. Calculate your current net worth honestly. No future paychecks. No wild guesses. Just what you own minus what you owe. Then decide on your first milestone. Maybe it is 5,000. Maybe it is 20,000. Ultimately, make the first 100,000 non-negotiable. Finally, pick the one habit that moves you closer every month. Maybe it is a set transfer into an index fund. Maybe it is a side project that adds a few $100s each month. Maybe it is moving to a cheaper place for a while. The mechanics are simple. The feelings will not be. There will be months where nothing seems to happen. There will be dips that make you question everything. There will be temptations to walk away. Remember Harry standing in front of that empty grid, marker in hand. He was not special. He was not born rich. He did not find a secret investment. He picked a number. He built a simple system around it. He stayed in the game long enough for compounding to finally wake up. Your story will not match his numbers exactly. Your income, your starting point, your timeline will be different. But the turning point is the same. The first 100,000 is when it really begins. Get there once, protect it, and then let time, not talent, do most